Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new live action remake of yet another classic animated Disney film, which is Mulan. And this is the brand new 2020 version of the Mulan, which was supposed to come out in March, which we're now finally getting on Disney Plus for a $30 premiere rental on top of your already existing Disney Plus account if you have it. So if you don't have it, it would be $37 to get this movie. And that is a steep price, which that will factor into really how I'll recommend this movie, which I'll say right off the bat. If you're with a family or if you're in a larger group of people that are watching this movie and sharing this one purchase of this film, I think it is pretty much worth it because, I mean, you're watching with a bunch of people, and not only that, but it stays on your Disney Plus account for the entire time that you have Disney Plus until it eventually comes out, I think in December for free to everybody, which is pretty soon. So that also kind of affects whether or not I recommend this movie because I have mixed feelings on this film, which mainly stems off of just the fact that, you know, you're remaking a classic movie, and same thing with Lion King and Aladdin and some of these other live action remakes that just don't work because we already have one that's so much better. And it's not that this film is bad, but it's just that this film kind of, you know, it has the same feeling that I had with Lion King, a little bit more so with Lion King, but the fact that it just kind of feels like you're checking off boxes, you're going through the motion that you know the original animated film went through, and you're kind of just, you know, hitting the check boxes and saying, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. All right, so let's add a couple things, take some things out, changing up a little bit, and present our movie to the world, which, you know what, it works because, you know, these movies make a lot of money, obviously, from Lion King, which I did not really like at all. This movie had some enjoyment in it. It was very beautifully shot. I think that is the most commendable thing about this movie. Every frame of this movie is gorgeous. The cinematography is top-notch, and the director does a really good job at creating a visually pleasing movie to watch. And I think some of the action sequences stemmed from either really, really good to just kind of acceptable and fine. You know, none of these action scenes really pop out of my mind. You know, I watched this yesterday, and, you know, sitting on a day to think about it, there was nothing really super memorable about the action scenes, besides maybe one, but even that was kind of cut short, which is really frustrating, because that happens in a lot of scenes in this film where, you know, you're kind of introduced to an idea and some big moment happens and then you cut away from it, or you completely skip the moment in general. And there's one big moment that a lot of people are talking about, which is Mulan's decision to leave to go to war, that is completely skipped over and cut through and just kind of forgotten. And the most frustrating part about it is you get a one short flashback scene back to that moment of that decision. So they did film some of this stuff, they just didn't decide to put it in the movie. It was kind of frustrating that some of these aspects of the film that was so important in the animated movie was just kind of glossed over because they kind of assumed that we all know and love the animated original Mulan, which, if I'm being honest, if you've seen any of my reviews for these live action remakes of these films, I did not grow up watching a bunch of these Disney movies. I never watched Aladdin, the animated movie, until after I watched the live action one. I know, crazy. Go back to my review for Aladdin. And that's kind of like a little experiment that I like to do, which is to watch the new remake of it before I go back and watch the original, because it gives me a whole different perspective on the film. And so I have not seen the original Mulan in a long time. I have seen it. I do remember quite a bit of it. It just is not a movie that I went back to and watched all the time. So it's not like I was super connected to that original classic. But watching this movie, even knowing little about the animated movie since it's been so long from watching it, it still felt like they were glossing over things because they expected you to already know the story of Mulan, which was really frustrating while watching this movie. But besides that, I think it's a perfectly fine movie. The cast is excellent. Having an all-Asian cast was awesome to see in this film. You know, you have the main actress, which there's controversy around her, but how did she do it? I think she did pretty alright. You know, she didn't stand out above everything else like it's the greatest casting for Mulan that I've ever seen. I thought she was pretty good. The problem with her storyline is I see what they were going for with her character arc in this movie. It just did not work nearly as well as I remember the animated version of her character being, because they did kind of switch up that message. And like I said, I get what they're trying to do, mainly because every time they had the chance to, they wore it on their sleeve and they said it directly into the camera, pretty much winking at the camera saying, this is the message of the movie. And that was it was really annoying throughout the movie because every time they had a chance, they referenced the theme of the movie and they basically blatantly spoke it directly to the camera because we're not smart enough to understand the themes that they're trying to get at, apparently. So there was some distrust in the filmmakers of not believing that we're going to be able to get the message that they're going for, but it's so blatantly obvious, it just kind of took away from it. And getting into some of these supporting characters, I love the actor who played the father. I believe his name is Tzi Ma. I might be mispronouncing that, but he was in The Farewell and he was in Arrival, and I love him in both of those films. He is such a great actor. I love seeing him pop up in more movies, and he was excellent as the father in this movie. I just kind of wish, like I said, some of these moments earlier in the film, really they spent more time on it rather than skipping through it to get to the action. And then those moments towards the end of the film where it's supposed to be more emotional, you don't have as much impact because you're skipping through some of the things at the beginning. But nonetheless, I thought he did a great job. And of course, Donnie Yen being in this movie. I love Donnie Yen. Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie that has been released since probably Empire Strikes Back. I really, really love Rogue One. And it just kind of makes me feel like, man, we could have had Donnie Yen playing a Jedi, wielding a lightsaber. We never got that. But man, he was awesome in this movie. I really love Donnie Yen. But I really think my main takeaway of this movie was it was a fun experience watching it. You know, it was beautifully shot, very visually appealing. Some of the action scenes were really fun and entertaining. But for the most part, it just, like Lion King, it's kind of lacking the heart and soul that the first movie had that worked so well for it. And I will say this, like I said with Aladdin, like I said with even Lion King and Jungle Book, with these Disney live action remakes, you know, they're all fun and cool, I guess, to see these movies remade in a different version, having some changes here and there. But what I really want to see is them continue these stories. And I think they do kind of set up for a sequel in this movie that I would really, really be looking forward to. If they were to make a second Mulan movie, I would be first in line for it, because I think if you get, you know, the right people behind the camera, the right person writing the script, and you really put a lot more effort into being more original with the story and where you're bringing these characters and have more attention to those arcs that you give them, I think a sequel to this film would be very, very good. Same thing with Aladdin. I think Aladdin sequel, which they are working on, would be awesome to see. So I really hope Disney starts going that direction as they kind of check off boxes and they're running out of films to remake into live action films. I really hope they focus on making sequels to these ones, because now they have the opportunity to do so. So I'd very much be liking to see that from Disney instead of just keep on remaking classics that we've already gotten and that we already love. We already love the story of Mulan. There was really no need to remake this story, although there was some good ideas. There's no music in this movie. This movie's not a musical. It's taken slightly more seriously, which I thought was a really good idea, and the musical score in this movie is excellent. And so all in all, I thought this movie was pretty okay. I'm not sure if I'd recommend it to everybody. If you're just paying for the $30 rental with a bunch of people, I think it might be worth it. Otherwise, I think wait till it is free on Disney+. But you know what? I enjoyed watching it. I'm kind of glad that I have it on my Disney Plus now in case I ever want to go back and watch it again, which I might end up doing, possibly. But that will be it for this review. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. Comment below what you guys thought of the live action Mulan if you guys chose to see it. And I will have a brand new review out for Class Action Park, which is a new documentary on HBO Max. I'm going to actually record it right now because I'm actually really pumped to talk about this movie. And I have a review out for Tenet. I have a review out for I'm Thinking of Ending Things. So guys, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews just like this one. And share it with your friends. Let people know of my channel. I'm kind of growing a little bit, so I want to keep that going. So thanks guys for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one.